So I have been like recently really aware, and I text my wife this when I saw this situation, but I feel that we have an obesity problem in this country, and in my exact text to her was, I said, obesity is such a tragedy.
It is.
And I saw a family. I'm in the store yesterday, and I've got just a couple of things that we needed, but I need to get some more steak because I eat steak every night at dinner. And there's this obese family. Like the dad's like very big, the kids are big, the mom's big, and they're standing where I need to be. And they're taking up, like, there's 5 of them, and they're taking up a whole lot of space. They're kind of being a little ignorant to the world around them, which, okay, whatever. And I was just politely standing by to the side. It's like, well, I'll put my cart here and I'll walk around and like come up around the other side to get to where I needed to. Well, the kids moved to where they were in the way.
Yeah.
Didn't say, I just like, it did end up saying, excuse me, because I wasn't wanting to wait forever. They were taking a while, so I just said, excuse me. So the dad kind of shoos him out of the way, but doesn't acknowledge me, doesn't say anything to me. And it just caused me to go down this rabbit hole of thoughts. And I just feel that and the whole point of even bringing this up, I feel that like a guy like that, a family like that, like it's the dad specifically, morbidly obese, that just stopped caring how he looks, what he feels, what other people see and think of him.
But honestly, it's not got nothing to do with other people. You see, that's always an interesting discussion to me, because when I bring up you shouldn't care what other people think, right? The most important part of that is you should still care what you think.
I was ultimately where I'm going.
Yeah,
that was ultimately where I'm going.
You still need to have a self-awareness of yourself and how do you want to present to the outside world.
Yeah,
right. Your presentation. Pride is not a good thing either, right? Because pride can help you to a certain degree, but pride can also put you in the negative. It's not the most simple way to put this is.
Maybe I should have said I want to be proud of myself,
which is fine.
It's not pride in the ego sense, but proud of my performance. Proud that I have worked. Like for me, one of the things, and we laugh about this, but like if someone sees me that hasn't seen me in a while and they go, "You look skinny," I kind of take insult to that because I'm like, no, I've worked really fucking hard to eat a certain way and lift a certain way to put on size and mass and look strong and muscular, not skinny. So there's a pride factor in that.
However, the fact that bothers you, right? The fact that triggered you, because it did, right?
No,
it did. And it's not just you. It triggers any guy who's training. Yeah. Because part of that is ego and insecurity. We all have it. I have the same triggers. Yeah. We all have it, right? And when it comes to talking about people that are obese, right? Here's the thing is, if you are the best version you can possibly be of yourself, right? The best version. And there's a ban for that, is if you do not, right, take care of yourself from an aspect of overeating is terrible, right? Like there's a self-control that comes down to discipline, personal discipline, because if you truly love yourself, if you truly love those around you and you want to be the best version of yourself, you will take care to not do, and I mean, not to go too religious, but those 7 deadly sins are pretty on point. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Lust, gluttony, all those things kind of tie in because because you do not attain a morbidly obese physique if you do not add in gluttony, right? Which means that you overeat, you don't care how much you eat, you're kind of overly focused on that, and that has become a focal point.
Absolutely.
It's this, and I can flip that on its head, and I can go, if you're so overly concerned with how you look in the gym and how other people perceive you, you're also losing the battle, right? It must be how you perceive you. Yeah. How do I feel about me? How do I feel how I present? Because I don't really care how other people feel. When I get up in the morning, I don't put on a t-shirt and go, hey, I'm going to wear this white t-shirt today because I think other people like it. I put it on because I like it.
I like it, yeah.
Right? I feel good in it. I want to present myself.
I agree.
It comes down to cleanliness. It comes down to that self-preservation or self-perception you have on yourself that you want to exude to the world, because what you want to exude to the world is be the change in the world that you want to see, as we've always said. Yeah. Part of that is presentation. It's not about other people. It's about you. It's about how you feel.
I just think like the obesity that we see in the country, there's so much with it. Like, we talk a lot about relationship with food, and importance of like repairing that relationship that people have with food. There's those in the world that something bad happens and they'll just turn to eating and then excessive eating or whatever. I think, even like someone we're helping right now is punishing themselves over food and decisions made in the past and working through that. But I find it so sad when I see a family and like you look at the things that they're buying and like just the choices that they make, and it's truly, to me, it just comes down to lack of being proud of yourself, like me, like wanting to take measures and take steps to say, I'm going to make a change on this. Like, you're going to die an early death. Your heart is going to fail.
True. The sad part about that is they may not. See, the thing is it's less to do. Society wants to, right, and to a large degree does, put these things on top of us. So you're going to die if you don't do that. No,
that's fair.
There's smokers who smoke till 90 years old and their lungs are pristine. And
my grandfather lived to, I think, 86, 87. He smoked a pipe, chewed tobacco, and smoked cigars.
That doesn't mean those things are good for you, but that is not the core reason why someone should change, right? If we're talking about a father that has a family, is no matter what they tell you, right? They don't like the way they look. They don't.
I agree.
No matter what they tell you, right? Because I've known enough people in my life that there's a certain precipice. However, there's trauma and things that have happened to them, right, that have led them to, I wouldn't want to say give up, but in certain senses they've just given up and they said, well, this makes me happy, and they've chosen a path that they feel fills a hole that is actually got nothing to do with the food they eat. It's got to do with all the other problems. It's similar to what addiction does, right? And in that particular case, is you talk often about breaking those generational bonds, those chains that hold us, right? Those curses that hold us. Obesity is a very much a generational curse. It's something that can carry through unless you choose to make sense. Alcoholism is very similar. You'll find generally alcoholism will run through families.
Well, think of it simply like this, right? Is like, and I see, just the everyday person posting things on social media about, hey, your kids are watching. Yeah. They 100% are. They truly are watching, and they're looking to see what you do. They look to see how you act, because in the end, they're going to get those same things. Like my wife and I have a very good experience around this to share. Real quick, let me read the 7 sins. The 7 deadly sins are pride, greed, wrath, lust, envy, gluttony, and sloth. I don't really know what sloth is, but
it's just being lazy.
There you go. Yeah, that's a good point. Right. But my wife, so for her upbringing, her dad was a military guy. Yeah. Very conscious of health and eating. In those letters that we put together, we're reading, he kept constantly, he was in Vietnam, and he was always asking for protein tablets. Yeah. Like literally like Mom, send me protein tablets. Like almost every letter. It was funny. But anyway, he was very health conscious, and even in the he'd asked for I forget what they called it, but it was like a spring with handles at the end of it. You know what I'm talking about? And he was like, "Send those over. I'm getting fat. I don't have a gym here. I don't have the ability to work out." So it was really entertaining. And Sam's like, see how this is what I was raised with, right? Then there was me that didn't have my family had never worked out a day in their life. Mm-hmm. There was no nutritional teaching or anything like that, so I didn't really know things until I got into sports. That's where I learned how to lift weights. Playing sports is what taught me that. I learned a little bit about nutrition, a lot. Mm-hmm. I mostly was like, drink a protein shake after workouts. That's really what I knew about nutrition. Yeah. So very opposite ends of the spectrum when it came to health and wellness. And the whole idea for me was like breaking that generational curse to say, well, I could easily have said, well, I just don't have the genes for it. Yeah. Well, if you like, in my eyes, and I'll share another example of a kid that I know. Mom and dad obese. Mm-hmm. Kid played a sport. I won't say what sport because I don't want to reveal who it is that I'm talking about. The kid went on to play at a Division I level. Yeah, looks phenomenal. And when I knew him, like he was learning fitness and learning stuff, and has really changed that, right? And it's up to him to keep that and to continue it. Yeah. But it's the idea that like he didn't learn that from his parents; he learned it in other places.
I didn't learn it from my parents, and most people don't. Yeah. And going back to how this ties in to limiting beliefs, right? So there's a lot to unpack, and obesity is a good place to start, right? Because where's the advent of it? There's a couple of multiple levels where this goes in. We live in a society which tells us to overindulge. It's
really quick, can I just say, like, to me, saying that, well, my parents were obese or whatever, so I'm just, like, it's my genes.
Why bad genes?
That's limiting belief.
That is, all of it is, right? But let's break that down, because this will tie in. So the reason I'm breaking down obesity is because most of the time when you have a limiting belief, there's a complex reasoning behind it, right? There's personal reasons, there's societal reasons, there's multiple things that can layer it. Obesity, specifically in the United States, when you break it down, the first thing is you have a society from a media aspect and company aspect, which drives and tells you eat. Everything's about the next meal and when you're going to eat. From a governmental standpoint, get your 3 meals a day, have a snack in between, never be hungry, right? What happens is, as that drives in, everybody's level of self-discipline, self-control is slightly different, and everybody has a different way of conducting themselves, right? I come from a family that, my family wasn't obese, but they weren't they weren't, I would say, fitness conscious, but they were reasonably healthy people, right? Other people come from a family where they have obesity, right? Now, that's not an excuse. That's just something you came from, because, as you said, there's people who transcend that all the time. But now think about this, right? You live in this super comfortable society. Food is right over here. You know, food stamps.
We could put an order on our phone and it'll deliver to us.
Right here, right? Food stamps are available if you can't afford it, and you can buy all the crap that you want. The foods you consume are super addictive, right? Speak to any immigrant who moves to the United States to say, the minute I move here and start eating the food, I pick up 20 pounds. Because same food, I haven't changed what I eat, right? Same products, but it changes because the additives and everything is designed to create a fat, sloth-like society that's healthy enough to do what they need them to do, but weak enough to fight back, right? And you know, that's diving into a little bit of the you know, on the conspiracy side, but essentially that's what you're trying to build.
It's reality.
Now, there is a large portion of society, right, that is trying to transcend this. You know, we're in our new administration, we have a guy like RFK who's literally trying to end the chronic disease in this country. And he doesn't have an easy job, right? No, now, imagine you're the person, you're this obese person, right? I like my Funyuns. I like eating chocolate for breakfast. I like drinking milkshake. I like all these things. I like it. That's what I eat, right? I don't want to go walk because it's super difficult. If I step up and I walk from my bedroom to my bathroom, I'm out of breath, right? And attaining it for anyone is, even as people who have been athletes for most of our lives, and you really, go into these athletic endeavors, when you do something that is super uncomfortable, even for us who are athletic, dude, it hurts.
Yeah, it does.
But it's because of our experiences where we realize that hurt's going to pay us back later. So now, imagine RFK is trying to change this limiting belief within society, a society that's driven on all the bad foods, which has created an obesity crisis.
Yep.
In order to change that, right, you can't make it an option. You have to make it. You have to. It's not an option anymore. You cannot buy these foods. You have to do exercise. You want to get government assistance, you better pitch up to the gym 3 times a week. You better go for walks. You better show that you're trying to become a better human being. And it's going to be uncomfortable. And it's not going to be nice because removing yourself, and for anyone else listening, removing yourself from a comfortable position, right? From the couch where I can watch TV, I'm warm, I'm comfortable. Now I'm telling you, you've got to go out in the cold, right? The easy route now will without a doubt create the uncomfortable route later.
Yes.
Or I choose the uncomfortable route now for the comfortable route later, right? It's the same thing. It's just the outcomes are different based on the choices you make today.
Totally.
And that falls within limiting beliefs, because limiting beliefs also are comfort-based. I make a limiting belief because if I limit myself, I can never be disappointed. I can never fail. And I put just enough so I can tell people I've done something, but I didn't really push for the stars, right? Yeah. And that's part of a limiting belief. So obesity is just a segue that we're using to explain this, but realistically, it all narrows down to the same thing. Yeah. If you say to yourself, I can't ever be an entrepreneur. I'm not entrepreneurial. Bull fucking shit. We're all entrepreneurial.